I just got out of the theaters witnessing Asteroid City on the big screen, and I have some things that I want to talk about for this film, guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the review. Let's go. What's going on, you guys? Demigod back on Demigod ET, bringing you another movie review for Asteroid City, directed by Wes Anderson, his latest film to hit theaters. And this film is actually not playing at all theaters, it's playing at select theaters, and more specifically art house theaters. So I got to go to my local art house theater and check this one out, which I haven't been to that theater in quite some time now. So this was a fun experience overall, and I gotta say it's very fitting because this film itself is extremely artistic, and you feel that immediately the moment this starts to play on the screen. And how did Wes Anderson do with his latest film? Well, let's go ahead and talk about it. So, the Itinerary of a Junior Stargazer Space Cadet convention organized to bring together students and parents from across the country for fellowship and scholarly competition is spectacularly disrupted by world-changing events. Now, this film takes place as a play, so everything having to do with Asteroid City, you actually feel like you're on a film set based on the structure of this film, with title cards from the different acts 1 through 3, with different scenes being interjected into here, and also an intermission with inside of here and an epilogue. And I found all that extremely fascinating. Now, when we're behind the scenes of this play and it's just the actors talking amongst themselves, this film is shot in a black and white, smaller aspect ratio so that you can differentiate the scenes in between the colorful play, which of course is done in full screen. By the way, I gotta say, Wes Anderson did a fantastic job directing and shooting this film. This is masterfully shot with a wonderful bright color palette, the bright blue sky that you see in all the posters, with great still shots inside of here where he just sets the camera and lets the actors take over and perform on screen, which is hardly seen nowadays. And in between the still shots, you get these amazing sweeping shots inside of here where he captures different scenes going on inside the play. Now, considering this takes place at an older time period in America, you get a very patriotic film inside of this movie where you get this sense of Americana, you know, that classic American vibe. And in fact, this entire film as a whole, especially with the way it was shot, feels like a love letter to classic cinema. And at times it feels like a classic film or classic television show itself. And the thing that it really reminded me of is the Twilight Zone. It feels exactly like an episode of the Twilight Zone. Now, the cast inside of here is absolutely stacked. There's a stellar cast with great performances throughout the entire film, and I'll read you off some of the names because the list is so long that I'm not going to be able to name them off the top of my head, so here's a few for you. At the top of the building, we have Scarlett Johansson, who is a personal favorite of mine and is definitely my favorite performance inside this entire film. But we also have plenty of other talents such as Jason Schwartzman, Tom Hanks, Bryan Cranston, Edward Norton, William Dafoe, Margot Robbie, Jeff Goldblum, and the list goes on and on and on with famous actor names inside of this film, which was amazing to see. Now, the dialogue inside of this movie, it's sharp, it's scientific, it's filled with very witty and subtle humor, where if you're not paying attention, you'll miss a lot of lines that are thrown inside of here. And there's so many wonderful aspects that make up this film. Now, of course, it's not a perfect film, and you definitely feel that come in here with the slow pacing of this film throughout every single act, all three of them. This film is very slow paced from beginning to end, so make sure you're very patient with this movie if you're going to go out and see it. And I'll be honest, by the end, it felt very long and drawn out and like it was overstaying its welcome. I was just waiting for it to end. And despite the talent inside of here being absolutely ridiculous, there are sadly no standout characters, no characters that stuck with me when I left this film, or even performances for that matter, outside of Scarlett Johansson and a few others. Now, the story also doesn't feel all the way there. I don't feel like I witnessed and felt a complete tell by the time the credits rolled and this movie was over, and that disappointed me. It really did. I expected more out of this film. I didn't exactly expect spectacle, which you don't get inside of this movie. It's very artsy, so don't go in here expecting, you know, a big spectacle, which is fine. I expected it to be that way. However, I felt like this movie did just not live up to its potential, and I feel like it missed its mark at being potentially considered a modern day classic. And based on how well this is shot and crafted, I can see this later on becoming a cult classic potentially down the line. Now, with all that being said, let's go ahead and drop the official rating for Wes Anderson's Asteroid City. I'm gonna go ahead and give this film a 7.5 out of 10. It gets the 7.5 out of 10. A lot of fantastic elements inside of this film. However, I feel like it just misses its mark slightly. A lot of things inside of here could have been better and should have been better with how much talent is inside of this film. And it's an interesting watch. If you're going to go out and check it out, I would recommend you go see it as a matinee. And with that being said, guys, those are my thoughts on this film. Let me know your thoughts on Asteroid City down in the comment section down below. If you don't know why J100 is going to get to do commentaries, reactions, or reviews, if you say that, you're in the right place, man. Hit subscribe, hit the like button. I drop multiple videos a week on the channel, so you can expect that of me. And if you don't already know, I am the Demigod, the chosen one here on Demigod ENT. I'm out of this thing, man. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.